Hi, so just been kind of thinking about intelligent assistant and how I think they could be introduced in some type settings. So I've been kind of thinking about this for quite some time. I think one of the areas that is quite ripe for such an invention, I would say, would be the education environment. So I think we're kind of seeing a transformation in the education sector where and ignore the two. I'm just too lazy to kind of do my hair or put gel in it right now. I'm kind of cold too, but anyways. I think what we're seeing in the education sector is uh, disruption from the perspective of MOOCs kind of going more mainstream, a variety of different formats kind of emerging that are disrupting the traditional education system. And There's quite a diverse set of activities, all the way from Udacity, Coursera, Khan Academy, and a whole bunch of other startups. But this is not what this conversation is about. I mean, what I have noticed, and I've spent a lot of time on MOOCs. I've been on MIT OpenCourseWare since forever. I can't even remember how long ago. I guess one of the first couple of years when they launched, I was on the site, spent some time there, and I've pretty much had a chance to see the evolution of most major MOOCs. MOOCs, for those who don't know, are massive open online courses like Udacity, Khan Academy, and some of the other names I mentioned. I think one of the things that's there's a couple of different things that can be done in order to be able to make MOOCs more interactive. And if anything, this is just kind of like a brain dump of some things that could be done. So I want to kind of start with a blog post I made a couple of years ago. I kind of call it Classroom Reimagined. Now, this was kind of reimagining the classroom from an actual physical perspective or point of view. But you could very well disrupt education with some of the newer mediums. Like VR is going to be huge in a couple of years, and already we are witnessing the emergence of Oculus Rift in the education sector. So, some kind of education institutes are making a head start when it comes to that in order to be able to make use of this technology in the classroom. So many benefits to that. Like you can do so much more in VR without actually having to invest in like a physical environment from a whole bunch of different perspectives. I mean, it's really limited to your imagination at that point. So that's kind of like more recent. The reimagination of classroom, like the physical classroom that I kind of imagined a couple of years ago was, let's take a look at it, that there would be no teachers, bulk of the learning would be done online through MOOCs. I think that's becoming truer. MOOCs will deliver the bulk of it was pretty much the same. Um, I kind of envisioned the classroom. I was going to be more focused on collaboration, experimentation, interactivity of different sorts, perhaps interactive environments, or really a subset of experimentations. And I kind of focus on examinations. I don't think exams really prove anything, but I'm not going to get into that controversial kind of discussion. The classroom I imagine was like a wide, huge open space, physical or virtual. I kind of borrowed some themes from the movie Gattaca, and I definitely borrowed a lot of the designs, which I'll kind of showcase in a second. So you have concentric circles kind of going around an environment, and you've got floors that can move up and down, sideways. The whole kind of real estate is dynamic, and you can kind of modify it. There are three screens on each one of the desktops, and you've also got something that is a Microsoft's got these Surface 3D desktops where you could kind of interact with whatever is being displayed on the screen. Although I'm kind of mapping some of the newer technologies out there, so I don't think I think there's a reason why this kind of technology never took off, and this is kind of way it's a couple of years before Oculus, so VR and AR weren't really there as well. So basically, I kind of started getting into a bit more detail on how the interactions with the student-teacher interaction is happening. This teacher resources kind of pooled across the state, if not the country, and there's like an overhead projector that kind of comes in, and the interactions happening. There are local teachers, although I kind of start with a comment saying there are no teachers, but I think at some point I kind of contradict myself. Just kind of mapping it in my mind. It was like, and I think teachers have a very important role to play. But it's really, kind of going back to the comment I started with. I think education will change. The type of offering, as in how education will come about in the future, is going to be very diverse. Is going to be a diverse set of offerings where individuals would have the option to kind of go and choose a mechanism or a construct that appeals to them. So whether it's traditional, MOOC, something else, a merger of the two or the three, whatnot. So you kind of like, and this is the kind of this is how I imagined it. So whether you have something that's like Microsoft 3D desktop or like an advanced augmented reality construct or something else, that's what the future would look like. One of the things I kind of noticed was, and again, going back to the comment I made about spending a lot of time on MOOCs, is just the interaction piece. I kind of miss that human connection, having spent so much time on MOOCs. I mean, there's an instructor in most of the MOOCs, and some of them are engaging and interacting, and some of them, unfortunately, are not. But I wish there was something that was part, perhaps, of the operating system. And that's kind of where I start thinking more and more about intelligent assistant. So this is specific to education, but you could kind of open it up a little bit and could apply in a wider sense. Perhaps this could really be part of operating systems of the future, or it could be at least part of a specific MOOC out there. It's a bunch of different ways you could kind of do this. So what I was thinking was, what you want to do when it comes to, let's keep it objective and focused. So when it comes to education and MOOCs, what you want to do is increase the actual level of interaction or engagement with the MOOCs. I haven't had a chance to look into this since last year, but the engagement rates for MOOCs are not very high. They're not in the high 80s or 90%. Most of the people taking MOOCs drop out at some point. And I figured one of the ways that this could be leveraged, other than some of the other movements that are happening in the MOOC space, is by bringing in some kind of a mechanism in order to be able to motivate the user to kind of go that extra mile every day. So the idea that I've kind of started thinking is pretty bare bones. I'm just pretty raw. I'm documenting it right now. I was thinking, like, what if I was kind of, say, logged into Udacity, right? Or Udemy at that. I think my password is saved here. Yeah. So what if I don't remember my password right now. I think I do remember a password for Udemy. Oh, I'm already logged in. So what if I was kind of logged into Udemy and I was taking a course, spending I actually signed up for a weight loss course. That's embarrassing. But anyways, what if I was kind of going through a course and spend a couple of, 45 minutes there, I have some time to spare. The construct, whether it is operating system or browser that I'm using, understands the context, the awareness, knows that I have a little bit of free time this evening, knows that I don't have any schedules. like any appointment schedule for the evening. So what if there was some kind of construct or some mechanism to be able to encourage me to go and spend that extra hour trying to finish this course or move it to the next level. And what if this came in the form of a person that I like, that I admire, and that it's like an avatar kind of coming up on the side of the screen, kind of like how you have these desktop assistants. Have never used any one of these products, but apparently you have desktop assistants that you can download and they kind of do a whole bunch of things, but like basically pops up on the side of your screen and you can interact with it and whatnot. But what if there was like a Carol Dweck kind of avatar that kind of came up on my screen on the side, and it was like a personalized message to kind of go in there, put in that extra mile, put in that extra effort, go complete that module or that course. Or maybe it could be Peter Diamandis, another one of my favorite individuals, right? Or Ray Kurzweil at that. I'm taking a course on Udacity actually about cognitive computing. So it would be pretty ideal if Ray kind of came up on the screen and encouraged me to go and give my extra, I don't know, 50%, 80% to go complete another module or another one of the sections within that program. So I'm not going to mention this right now, but anyone who's kind of been using Microsoft products for quite some time kind of remembers these guys. So that's we've been kind of using, I guess, components within the UI in order to be able to guide the user experience. I can't think of a modern day equivalent of something like this paperclip, but if we were to revive assistants in some form, shape, or fashion, then I think they should come in a more intelligent fashion. And my ideal vision here is that it's going to be beyond just facial recognition itself. So University of Southern California has a lab called ICT, or Institute of Creative Technologies. There's some really cool technologies in development in their lab. And one of them
Coming
is
in
called
today.
Sensei.
I was created to talk to people in a safe and secure environment. I'm not a therapist, but I'm here to learn about people and would love to learn about you. I'll ask a few questions.
So what their products, what it does is basically, I think it uses Connect, and it's able to record the facial features of the individual as you kind of see on the screen, and used on that, it kind of runs algorithms on whatever's being recorded in order to be able to kind of figure out what the person is feeling, their perceptions, how they're likely to behave, and whatnot. So this is pretty powerful because using a technology like this, you can kind of assess level of engagement, which is really interest in whatever's being displayed. And you can kind of build algorithms on top of that in order to be able to do a whole lot, and specifically when it relates to education and that's what we started with in the first place. So that's just one of the technologies I was thinking of. And, kind of showed the paperclip, but like in a couple of revisions, what the technology could actually evolve to would be something like this. So another one of the inventions from, again, University of Southern California's ICT lab. And so this one is a simulated holograph of a actual survivor of, well, it's survivor of the Holocaust, but you can kind of, okay, I'll just show the video and people, whoever's watching it is going to get a sense of what's possible.
Have for me.
How old were you when the war ended?
I was between the ages of 13 and 14 when the war ended in 1945.
Do you remember any songs from your youth?
This is a lullaby that my mother used to sing to me, and I still remember it. It's in Polish. Jadą dzieci, jadą.
So as you can you can probably get a sense of what's being displayed here. So we have a augmented reality construct, and there's some really interesting things happening here. Kids can ask questions in English language. The avatar has intelligence in order to be able to do a bunch of different things. So it understands the context of the question and it can actually respond to it in real life. In natural language. And I think that's really the destiny of intelligent assistance. That not only does it understand the context of the question being posed, but based on the body of knowledge it's connected to, based on its ontological structure, it can actually come up with intelligent answers to those questions unaided. And in my mind, that would be the ideal evolution of intelligent assistance. And this is only specific to one industry or education at that. Think about the possibilities of something like this for the enterprise or just for everyday normal computing, personal computing, or any other arena at that. So it was just really a thought. I think for starters, if I guess a litmus test was to be conducted, I would really be interested in seeing the adoption of intelligent assistants for education, specifically in the realm of MOOCs, to be able to see how the introduction of even just simple intelligent assistants would just for starters increase the level of retention and completion rates for MOOCs. And again, how that would kind of happen in my mind would be not any different from how this video is recorded. You'd be kind of doing your thing on the MOOC, and there'd be something popping up on the side of the browser itself. It doesn't have to be native to the operating system. Where based on a bunch of different parameters, maybe you haven't logged into the MOOC for a long time, or maybe 80% there, and just that 20% is really important information that you should finish, and the instructor would really like it. So, and if something pops up from the side of the screen, it encourages you to go and give everything you've got to go and complete the module, given your extra 20%. So just a series of thought. I figured I'd take some time to document it, and I've really been thinking about intelligent assistants. I'm kind of looking at the evolution of some of these technologies. This is going to be really interesting. I wonder when WIV's going to be released. Is it released? WIV's super interesting. Again, it's going to be interesting from the get-go. I don't know if you could actually have a full-scale kind of conversation with something like WIV, so it understands the context of the question and kind of ties it in a narrative kind of format. So one question that you pose, you can pose a variety of different questions, or tell WIV to do a bunch of things. You can ask it to go pick up. Can you find me something in the vicinity where I can find flowers for less than $8, and it would actually kind of go out and search all the e-commerce websites for you in order for it to deliver on that search request. Or you could ask it things like, I need a flight to Miami for tomorrow, and the seat's got to be big enough that it could fit Shaq in it. So there's a lot of different things in that query. First of all, it's got to go pick up the flights based on a simple parameter that you're given, and it has to know the context of what Shaq is, which Shaquille O'Neal is a basketball player. So WIF can actually do all those things, and it's been in the works for a couple of years. I'm really looking forward to what these guys come up with. My sense is, if it's not going to be WIV, there will be a breakthrough when it comes to intelligent assistants at some point, whether it comes out of Google or somewhere else. And I think that's going to be pretty super awesome. It will completely change how we interact with the machines. Um, my sense is that typing and using the mouse and the keyboard would become optional, and by and large, with the introduction of effective intelligence or intelligent assistance, we will be largely talking to the machines, and it's going to be a very audio-visual kind of an experience versus this. Yeah, just a series of thoughts on intelligent assistants and how I think we can start taking baby steps towards getting towards functional intelligent systems, and how I think we should we should probably conduct a couple of litmus tests in the education sector specific to MOOCs. Thanks.